It looks like we might be good to go. It says it's live.
Start recording though, I think, right?
Oh.
And we are live and we can start the meeting. Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I will call to order the regular City Council meeting of the Oak Park City Council, September 8th, 2020 at 7:01 p.m. City Clerk Ed Norris, would you call the roll?
Yes, thank you. Mayor McClellan.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Here.
Councilmember Weiss.
Here.
And Councilmember Edgar.
Here. Okay, we have a quorum. Please, on item 3, approval of the agenda, please pull item 4H for further investigation. And I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended without 4H.
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem, and is the second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Weiss. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have the consent agenda, and these things are without discussion. But we can remove one of them to be discussed, and I would like to remove item 4F, which is the payment application for the district court renovation, just to get an update on what's happening with the district court. So we'll move item F to the bottom and cover it separately. So for the consent agenda, we have regular council meeting minutes of August 17th, 2020. Request to approve the calendar year 2021 free garage sale dates. Arts and Cultural Diversity Commission meeting minutes of July 9th. Traffic Safety Commission has been very busy, and they have meetings of December 4th, January 8th, February 12th, March 11th, July 9th, and August 13th. E, we have Library Board meeting minutes of August 18th. We're moving F down to the bottom. G, request to approve proposed change order number 1 in the amount of $6,221 to our benefit, and payment application in the amount of $88,173.83 to Deutsche Environmental Services of Warren, Michigan for the 2019 sewer and catch basin cleaning and TV inspection project M700. We pulled item H. Item I, request to approve an agreement with the Road Commission for Oakland County for winter maintenance on Greenfield Road from 8 to 11 mile roads and on 10 mile road from Greenfield to Woodward, something that we do every year. Approve Parks and Recreation Commission meeting minutes of July 15th, 2020. And finally, licenses new and renewals submitted for September 8th, 2020. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
That's Weiss. And is there a second?
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. And then just look at item 4F separately. Request to approve proposed change orders 6, 7, and 8 in the amount of $53,141.60 to the good, and payment application number 10 final for $83,445.13 to Frank Rewald and Sons for the 2018 45th District Court renovation project M684. We need a motion to approve change orders and approve payment. A motion for anybody?
So moved.
Okay, White, second? Is that, thank you. I wonder if Assistant City Manager Kevin Yee would just give us an update on how is the district court renovation going and what's left to do and what's been done.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The project is actually 100% complete. The punch list and the project, we had a meeting set with the court last week. They're satisfied with the work that was done, and the project is now complete and closed. This releases the entire job. So the main point of the job, I guess, were we removed that second story where one of the judges, Judge Gubo, had sat. And we renovated courtroom 1, which is a project that we've been wanting to complete for a long time. Added a new judge's chamber below where the second story was, and in some adjacent areas that weren't being used, and did a lot of security upgrades. So that was the gist of it. There's some other upgrades that went into it. Adding an emergency egress door in the old city, what was the city manager area and is now probation, and just several, changes, and upgrades throughout the building.
There was some question about when you walked in and you had to put your purse through the usual thing. Was there a change in that lobby area?
Well, they did add a security area in there, and they did kind of renovate it to move people through better and faster, and kind of stage people a little better, but nothing, I guess, overly drastic. But they did do some things in that area to kind of move people through better.
I have a question. I think when the project was like maybe halfway through, it was suggested that once the job was completed, we would be able to get a tour. Is that still an option? I would like to see.
Yes, that's absolutely an option. And we had totally and completely planned to do that. And then COVID kind of interrupted everything about 6 months ago. And we haven't been able to do much of the things that we've wanted to do. So absolutely, that offer is still valid for whenever we can organize that and whenever we're all comfortable to get together and take a tour. It'd be nice if it was, probably before a council meeting when we're actually in council chambers and we can actually take a tour there without having to convene everyone at another night.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Weiss.
I'm wondering if we could maybe, in lieu of a tour for now, if we're not able, because we don't know when we'll be able to do that, maybe for the next meeting or the meeting after, just having some photos or things that we could share so the public can see as well.
Yes, we can work out maybe a little PowerPoint or a little photo presentation for you for the next meeting. That would be great.
Nice idea. Thank you so much. Now we need to vote to approve this change order. We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried, and we are done with the consent agenda. Thank you, Assistant City Manager Kevin Yee. Do we have any elected officials visiting in the chat room or participants? Any elected officials? We don't have special presentations. We are down to accounting reports. Number 10, item 10. Approval for payment of invoices submitted by Garen Luca Miller PC for legal services in the total amount of $14,089.31. We need,
So moved.
okay, and second?
Second.
Second, Radner. So Burns and Radner, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Motion carried. We are down to um,
12A.
let's see. Wait a minute. Let's see. 12A, yep. Okay. We have a second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend section 14.2, charge or custody of animals, and add section 14.6, humane acquisition, of chapter 14, article 1 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Oak Park. We need a motion to approve the second reading and adoption.
So moved.
Weiss and Radner, thank you. Is there discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I know we already did a first reading of all of these last time, but I'm wondering if for each we could just get a really brief summary for anyone
I would
who
love
was
that.
not on it before.
Right? Could City Attorney give us a quick one?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Section 14.2 is being amended to add some additional restrictions to the Code of Ordinances governing tethering, as well as the housing of animals. We've also added section 14.6 as part of this amendment, which prohibits puppy mills in the City of Oak Park.
Okay, is this the one that doesn't allow keeping the animal out overnight?
That is correct. That is part of the restrictions that we've added.
Okay. So there were problems with dogs barking at night, and this this ordinance change is to address that, among other things.
That is correct. Following the passage of this amendment, owners will be required to bring their dogs in between the hours of 12 midnight and 7 a.m.
Thank you.
I believe this one also includes a little bit more specificity to finding what adequate shelter means, and then also length of tethers and things of that nature as well. And requiring animals to be brought inside during when there's
Inclement
weather warning issued by the National Weather Service.
Right. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried. I think this is something that council members have been working on for quite a long time with the staff, and we're relieved to have some of these things in place now. Item 12B, second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend section 14.5 and add sections 14.7, chapter 14, article 1, domestic chickens pilot program of the Code of Ordinances, City of Oak Park. We need a motion to approve the second reading and adoption.
So moved.
That's Edgar, and we need a second.
Second.
Weiss, thank you. This was in response to resident request to raise chickens, not roosters that make a lot of noise, to raise them safely in the backyard, a limited number, 3, to raise them in an enclosure so they can't be flying into somebody else's yard, to raise them very carefully and cleanly so that there are no rodents attracted. And we're going to open it up and have some people start out with one-year pilot program to see if any of the neighbors, the immediate neighbors have to okay it. And so this is our chance to give some people who were very interested in doing that an opportunity to do it. So do we have the motion in a second? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
No.
and Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Okay, so it passed 4-1, and if some of the things that we're concerned about show up, it will be a 1-year experiment. And if they're satisfied, we'll continue that program. But thank you for all your opinions. Item 12C is a second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend section 1426 and section 1429 and add sections 1433 and 1434, chapter 14, article 2, dangerous animals of the Code of Ordinances, City of Oak Park. We need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Thank you. That's Weiss. And is there a second?
Second.
Edgar, thank you. Would our city attorney just explain what this is about dangerous animals?
Yes, Madam Mayor. The reason for this particular amendment is that there was a need for Oak Park Code of Ordinances to conform to current state law requirements regarding the adjudication of dangerous animals. The existing ordinance places discretion with the animal control officer to determine that an animal is dangerous and remove it from the owner. Under the amendments to state law, they now require that a determination that an animal is dangerous be made by a judicial officer, a magistrate, or a judge before the animal can be removed. So that is the process that we have incorporated in these particular sections.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, motion carried. Item 12D, second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend section 1449 fees, chapter 14, article 2, division 2 license of the Code of Ordinances, City of Oak Park. We need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem in a second.
Second.
Second, Weiss, thank you. I believe this is limiting fees for certain animals. City Attorney, can you be specific on which fees?
This particular ordinance amendment would allow an exemption to the fees for foster dogs and cats, as well as animals that are used for blind or handicapped individuals and law enforcement officers. I would note for council's attention that pursuant to discussion by council at the first reading, we have incorporated cats as well as foster dogs in the exemption for a period not to exceed 180 days in this section.
Okay. So if you're kind enough to adopt some dogs for a time or cats, that you don't have to pay for the privilege. So sounds fair. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes. Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
and Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Finally, second reading and adoption of an ordinance to amend section 1454, kennel licenses, and add section 1455, violations, chapter 14, article 2, division 2, license of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oak Park. We need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Burns, I didn't catch the second one.
I'll second it.
Edgar, thank you. City Attorney, would you briefly review this one?
Section 14-54 governs kennel licenses. This particular amendment was necessary as there was some ambiguity in the existing ordinance, and we needed to clarify that This particular ordinance will limit a single household to 3 dogs or 3 cats or a combination thereof. In accordance with Michigan law, a single household cannot maintain more than 3 dogs at one time without having a kennel license.
And is that is the only change?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
City attorney was going to discuss the effects of the class action lawsuit against the city of Oak Park that required us to change the way we're doing water billing. Who would like to discuss that one?
Good evening, Madam Mayor. I'll respond to that inquiry. And first, just as a note, the city manager did post in the chat room that if you have some specific questions about the recent changes, you should reach out to the water, regarding your water and sewer bill, you should reach out to the city's water department by phone. That telephone number is 248-691-7470. Our water supervisor, Kevin Vanderwall, is also available by email, and that email address is listed on the city's website. But essentially, as of July 1st, 2020, our stormwater treatment costs are now displayed as an individual line item on all of the customer water bills going forward. So that's the most significant change that everyone is seeing, and I believe the volume of questions are coming from. This is a completely separate charge from your water billing. So this is not just for your water usage. This is actually related to the stormwater runoff. We have a very good fact sheet on our city website that explains again exactly what stormwater is. It sets forth the process for how we went about calculating it and shows the differences that will appear on the various bills. I don't know, Madam Mayor, if you have any specific questions. Again, it's going to vary.
Why is there suddenly a separate charge for stormwater, and why are we being charged for it? I think are the kinds of questions that we're getting.
Well, just traditionally, it was all a lump sum that you would see it just as a one rolled in lump sum on the billing. And as you started off indicating, we did have a class action lawsuit that alleged a variety of things, including just an allegation that our stormwater charges should be separate from the water billings. So in connection with resolving that matter, we did go ahead and break out those charges separately. So now you'll see the separate charge for water consumption, sewer usage, and then a separate stormwater runoff. And in addition to, there's a garbage and rubbish charge also on the billings.
So this isn't new charges. This is just separated charges.
That is correct. It is not a new charge. It is separated. And again, just we're doing, I will say, a more specific calculation of each particular property or parcel within the city and the amount of stormwater that each particular parcel has. And that varies because it depends on, and I don't want to get too technical, and but it depends on the surface of rainwater that will be absorbed per particular property. And again, everything is explained on the website for how we did the total calculations in the city. This includes all property owned by the city of Oak Park, as well as our school district, which unfortunately are the largest two entities which sustained an increase in the charges. But just about every parcel owner is affected. And quite frankly, there are some people that may see a decrease in their billings on a monthly basis, while some are experiencing a slight increase. But again, it is just a more detailed billing, and you'll see all of those charges expressly stated on your bill.
And we didn't separate these out because we were dying to do it. Was the requirement of lawsuit. Is that correct? The settlement?
That's correct.
Well, we did agree to resolve it as part of the lawsuit. That was one of the allegations.
Okay. Are there questions? Thank you, Attorney Duff. I know there's going to be more question about it, but I appreciate you being available.
Anytime.
City Manager, please, Eric Tungate, please take over the next part.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I am going to ask City Clerk Ed Norris to go over 14A, please.
Thank you. As a reminder, each year, council is required to set their council meeting dates for the next year. And we do that early like this because we want to get the calendar ready to go for publishing. So before you tonight is a resolution adopting the 2021 regular meeting schedule of the Oak Park City Council. If you make note of it, it's essentially the first and third Mondays, except when those fall on a holiday, which is usually moved to the next day, which you've noted there. We did check the schedule for religious holidays, and there was a conflict in the month of May in 2021 on the 17th. So we have proposed moving that to the 19th, which is on a Wednesday. So those are the only changes.
Okay, thank you. So we need a motion to pass this resolution scheduling council meeting dates.
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And is there a second?
Second.
Second, Radner. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carried.
Okay, so 14B, Assistant City Manager Kevin Yee, if you could take this one for me. Thank you.
Good evening again. Attached is a request from OHM Advisors for additional compensation for the bridge enhancement project. This request is based on the days that they spent out on the job for inspection. Our original contract called out 4 weeks, which is 24 inspection days. The contractor bid the project indicating they would need 34 days to complete the project. They actually spent 42.25 working days on the project. We did deduct the amount, if you recall at the last council meeting, we deducted the amount for extra, what's called crew days or extra inspection days from their contract, as well as the liquidated damages clause. The liquidated damages amounted to $20,500, I believe. And the amount that we deducted for inspection days, it looks like was, I apologize for that. I had it in front of me. $7,920 for extra inspection days. OHM is requesting to get compensated for the amount of inspection beyond the days that they had in their contract and their proposal, which amounts to an amount of $17,520. That amount is spelled out in their contract. It's $960 per inspection day, is what was in our original contract. So it is recommended, and it's further recommended that we pay OHM for the invoices that are attached, which includes the amount for the bridge enhancement that I just described, and the amount on the safe routes to school preliminary engineering. So it is recommended that the proposed adjustment request from OHM Advisors be approved in the amount of $17,520. And it's further recommended that the invoices from OHM Advisors for the above listed projects be approved for the total amount of $17,680. Funding is available in the above listed account, which is a major street fund.
So we need a motion and a second.
So
Motion
moved.
to approve.
Okay, Weiss and
Seconded.
Edgar, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes,
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, so we, excuse me, have a total change invoices amount of a little over $35,000.
The change request is
Is it the two?
17, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I thought there was two invoices totaling a little over $17,000.
Correct. There are two invoices totaling $17,680. Yes.
Oh, they're not 17,000 each.
Correct. The total
Okay.
is $17,680.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Councilmember Radner.
How much in total is gonna be our total bill when all is said and done?
The total bill for the bridge project?
Yeah.
I apologize, I don't have that right in front of me. Let me just take a quick look. I thought that oh, here we go. I'm just gonna grab my calculator real quick. You just give me 1 second and I'll add it up.
Take your time.
Sorry for putting you on the spot. Thank you.
The total amount is including all engineering and contracted work, $670,908.
How much did we originally budget for this?
Well, this amount was all approved, and if you do recall, it came in over budget when you originally bid it out, but we did work through several projects and adjusted some projects up, some projects down to be able to fit this within the budgeted amount. That was done probably a year and a half ago. We decided to move forward with the project.
Yeah, I get that. But I was just curious. I don't have any information in front of me.
I honestly don't, right? I don't recall, and I don't have the budget book that we had from, it would have been in the budget probably 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I just don't have that in front of me right now to see what our budgeted amount was from that time.
Okay, I think it's like 500 and something thousand, but I'll look it up. Okay, thank you.
That does sound right, but I don't have it in front of me and I don't want to quote something.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I thought you knew this stuff off your head, Kevin.
As I get older, I don't remember quite as well.
Check your mental Rolodex. No, okay. Thank you.
Right.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I was just curious about the extra days. Why there ended up being extra days that we hadn't originally budgeted for.
So this project is very unique to Southeast Michigan and probably anywhere really. It's the first retrofit of a bridge project like this that I know of. The one in Auburn Hills is the one that's most notable that you've probably all seen on I-75. And that one was built with the bridge. So this was a retrofit of a bridge. Quite honestly, OHM told me that they spent a lot more time and effort and funding than they expected. It went back and forth between MDOT and the federal government, and they wanted little tweaks here and there. They said they went well beyond their budget that they're not charging us for, but this is actual inspection days that they were out on site and they're asking to be compensated. They did have it spelled out in their contract, how many days they expected to be out there. And then in the contract, it does the contract with the contractor, it states how many days they were to spend, which was 10 more. And then they went above that, which they were charged for. But that's kind of how that project worked.
So the one of a kind.
It really was, especially to this area, and especially, like I said, to retrofit a bridge was a unique experience. And I think a lot of learning happened during that project.
Huh. What were the challenges? Do you?
The charges to the contractor?
Challenges.
Oh, challenges.
Unexpected challenges.
Well, as a retrofitted bridge, there was all kinds of things that MDOT would require, the federal government require that, quite frankly, you couldn't have kind of predicted how each piece was fastened to the bridge, the type of material that it was fastened to the bridge with, just a lot of different the fittings and the construction of it that, OHM and the structural engineers did the best job of estimating what they thought that was going to be. But when they went to build it and design it and build it out and get it approved, there were some different ideas from the engineers at MDOT and the Federal Highway Department. So it just came with a lot of challenges because it was a completely new project.
Thank you. Further comments, or are we ready to vote? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Assistant City Manager Yee, 14C, please. You're on mute, Kevin.
I apologize. This is a request, as we've been discussing, this is a request to authorize to participate with Omnia Partners for their pre-bid contract to purchase solid waste carts, as well as communications through the Rearing Pacific Company. The Public Works Department is requesting authorization to participate in the Omnia Partners pre-bid contract for the purchase of solid waste carts, as well as communications through the Rearing Pacific Company. Rarig will provide communications via postcard to all single-family homes, providing a choice of either a 95-gallon cart, a 65-gallon cart, or no cart at all. A website will also be provided for residents to choose their cart. We have already discussed this with Jocelyn Davis, our communications consultant, and they will be working hand in hand with the Rarig Pacific Company, to make sure the communication is consistent among all of our branding and the way that we send messages to our residents. What this will do is set up a website so people will get a postcard in a code or add their address, and they'll be able to choose which cart they want or no cart, and that will be the cart that is then delivered to them. So it's a great way to take us out of the administration of that, and take out the errors that might come between us trying to keep track of it and then send it to the company for the delivery. So I thought it was well worth it. The project was budgeted in the 2021 solid waste budget. Pricing is $498,000 for the carts themselves and $14,325 for the communications piece. So
Madam
it is
Mayor?
recommend.
First, I believe we need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns is the motion. Was there a second that I didn't hear?
Second.
Second, thank you, Edgar. This allows, say, a senior or singles to select a 65-gallon cart instead of the big giant one. Or if they have a cart that's working fine, maybe no cart. The purpose is to make sure everyone has a clean way to get rid of their waste, to beautify the city. Are there comments or questions?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I have a question.
Yes,
Or two.
Councilmember.
So I'm really happy about this. I think it's great. We found money in the budget to do this. I think it's gonna go pretty far in curbing some of the litter problem we have, some of the trash problem we have in Oak Park. But is there another way that households can respond to the card if they don't, have email? Can they call the city and answer those questions?
Yeah, obviously we were going to still accept phone calls. We just wanted a way to streamline this and keep, the bulk of it out of our hands, just so that there's not the error in transferring data. But absolutely, if anyone calls us, we're always going to help.
And will the city then deliver the carts once you've gotten as many responses as you think you're going to get?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Is the city going to deliver the carts?
The city is not going to. This contractor is going to as part of this contract.
Oh, so okay, so there's no extra charge for the contractor to deliver?
Well, it's into this price. So yes, they're charging us $4 per cart for assembling and delivery, which again they're going to keep track of it all and then assemble them and deliver them. to each home. I also Dave just notified me that they are going to include with the mailing a self-addressed stamped pre-stamped postcard too. So if a resident is not comfortable filling out on their website online or doesn't have the means to do that, they can send a postcard in. So there are other methods as well.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you.
So if I don't need my huge garbage can and decide I'd like to go from 95 gallons to 65 gallons, can you explain what will happen to my still perfectly fine 95 gallon can?
If you elect to go with a 65 gallon cart,
Right.
that's what you'll receive. We're not,
I mean, if
I
you're
guess I'm not sure
currently,
what if you elect to
Would
get the 65 gallon cart, that's what you'll get delivered.
Right, but I already have a big one. So are you going to pick them up and use them for other things, or what will happen to the extra one?
you would,
Is I guess we haven't really discussed that. If someone didn't want their 95 gallon cart, I'm sure if someone didn't want it, we could find a use for it and take it. But I haven't really thought about that, to be honest with you.
Mayor.
City manager.
Well, you would, if you've purchased the 95 gallon waste receptacle on your own, you know,
Right.
presumably you would keep it. And I think Kevin's right. If people don't want them, then yeah, we haven't really discussed a way to take those back. I just wanted to mention, this is a major leap forward, assuming council authorizes this. This is a, you know, nice combination along with our recycling carts. I mean, this will be a great way, as Councilmember Edgar stated, to curb some of the additional trash that blows around our neighborhoods, and also will help us address the rat problem as much as possible. I mean, these are going to be enclosed lids, very similar to what our residents have for recycling. So this is a major leap forward, and I'm very, very proud of the work that Kevin and Dave DeCoster have done on this. This is nothing short of a small miracle here.
Mayor, may I speak?
Yes, please, Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yeah, I do recall a couple of meetings ago, we had a very detailed and extensive conversation in regards to the trash receptacles, and I'm very pleased with the all-inclusive price that included everything in regards to delivering them, communicating them, and even maintaining them. So kudos to Kevin and Mr. DeCosta for taking this on. Great, very much appreciated. And as city manager stated, this will address the rodent problem as well in regards to the, and as well as the trash in the city as well. So thank you.
If I may, I'm going to just make a couple more points on this. If there is no response, a 95 gallon cart will be delivered. So that'll be clear on the postcard, but I just wanted to make sure everyone understands that if you don't respond, we're going to deliver a 95 gallon cart. That's kind of the, the standard item. So that's what is going to be delivered. And also wanted to point out that we all agreed that this is a one-time offer. We are going to order extra to keep an inventory in stock. If someone moves and takes it with them or whatever, that we will still be selling them for the predetermined price that we have been selling them for. But this is a one-time delivery offer.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilmember Weiss.
For residents who are renting, obviously they would receive the postcard in the mail. Is there going to be instructions on there regarding who should fill it out, the renter or the landlord?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, honestly, we haven't really, it's going to be a postcard, and honestly, I don't, Dave, I don't know if you have any input on that, but I'm not sure. I believe it's going to the property and not the owner necessarily. Dave, is that what you, I know we haven't really discussed it, but is that what you envisioned? You're muted. You're not, there's no volume, Dave. I see you're unmuted, but there's no volume. Okay.
If I could, Madam Mayor, the intent of this is that the trash receptacle goes with the property. So I think that decision has to be left to the owner of the property, and whomever that is, landlord or owner occupant, whatever that may be.
Yeah, Dave just indicated that the mailing was going to the owner of the property. And yeah, I mean, that's correct. The receptacle would belong to the property itself. So the owner should receive that. And even so that they know that it's coming, so that they can, try to track it down and maintain it if they're going to change renters or whatever. It should stay with the property is the goal. They're going to have the Oak Park logo on them. I mean, we want them to stay here.
If I remember correctly, we had determined that it would go to the owner of the property and not the rentor, because the owner is the owner of record, correct?
Right. That's what David indicated. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to send them to the owner.
Yeah.
And we do have some color swatches that we can show you. We'd like to keep the same as we've been going with, but Lisa, I believe, can show some color swatches that David gathered from the contractor. And I do want to make sure that everyone realizes that it is Dave who did all the work on this. So I appreciate being recognized, but Dave has put an extensive amount of work into this.
Oh, wow.
So the red color, or the one outlined in red, is the current color we're using. You can see these are all kind of, kind of a plainer shades that, in my opinion, kind of go more with the trash receptacle that you want to kind of blend in. You don't want something, at least to my opinion, that's bright and sticks out. You want kind of something that blends into the landscape.
Yeah, I thought we had made that determination in our previous conversation that we were going to go with something that was more fitting to the landscape and would match or go with the recycle bin.
Right. That's what we had discussed that, but I believe that from what I recall, council wanted me to bring some swatches to the meeting here. So I just wanted to make sure if we're on the same page. That's what we've ordered in the past. It's a dark gray color, and we prefer to go with that with the Oak Park logo on it.
Looks good.
I don't feel super strongly about this, but I mean, these are all various shades of gray. And so if you want me to shut up, just tell me so. But I, in particular to the one on the top left, that like very dark gray one, I think would look nice with like a white logo background, would pop a little bit more. But that's, again, if you want me to stop, they're like just slightly different shades of gray.
I'm pretty sure I made myself clear on all this. I do not pick colors, so, and I don't judge colors, so have at it.
Any input, I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
care about which gray we get.
I care about this. I agree with Councilwoman Weiss. I like the one at the top left. I think it's got it's sharp, it's bold. It's modern.
Yeah.
That's easy enough to make. So if that's what everyone agrees with, I'm absolutely fine with that.
No objection. Anyone else? All on board?
I'm not gonna voice an opinion. Are you crazy?
I'm with you, Councilmember Red.
Okay, we've made our selection. Thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you.
We still have to vote.
Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, 14D, I have Director Stasiak and Director Maroney here to talk about the business showcase at the farmer's market. I don't know which one of you wants to go first, but I'm assuming it's Kim.
Good evening, everyone. Last week, we met with the Recreation Department, who came up with a great idea in order to help our struggling businesses right now in creating a business showcase to be held at the September 25th Farmers Market during the normal hours of 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we are hosting this event and hope that we can get at least 12 to 15 of our business owners to participate. and then encourage all of our residents, of course, to attend as well. So I commend Lori and her staff for coming up with this great idea and another way to help our businesses. Lori, do you have anything to add?
Sure. Good evening. I just want to say this was originally Kim's idea. We just took it one step further. We feel this is a great way to highlight our Oak Park businesses. Bringing them to the farmers market is a win-win for all. It gives residents the exposure to some businesses they may not have had before, while increasing the variety of items to purchase all in one place. And we already have 3 businesses who have contacted us, excuse me, and are interested in coming.
Well, thank you guys for that. No vote is necessary for that. Madam Mayor, one more thing I wanted to mention before I complete the city manager report. The governor's emergency order has been extended to October 1st. And I believe that means 28 days after that would be October 29th. And we are allowed to continue these virtual public meetings this way until that time. And I'm assuming everybody on council is in agreement that we should continue to do that.
Yes, this is, I feel much more comfortable not meeting inside an enclosed place for 2 hours or more.
Yeah. Okay. With that said then, Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the city manager report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager Eric Tungate. And if we could get whoever's running the meeting, it is called to the audience. Please limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thanks for watching.
All right, we will move on to public comment. If you are interested in speaking, you can raise your hand in the participants section, or if you are able to do that, you can message in the chat and we will make sure that you get unmuted to make your comments. We'll start with, I see Sherry Wells has her hand raised.
Yes, I do. Good evening. I've enjoyed this meeting. I enjoy meetings anyway. And the last time you saw me, I was Mrs. Ferndale bringing some historical items. And despite the lockdown, I'd like to hear that the mayor's husband is still working on that history. We're going to have a lot fewer distractions with this COVID stuff. I've been enjoying the farmers market. They have developed a sweet potato pie addiction in me. So that's, I'll be there tomorrow morning. I'm running for state representative. I know you know someone else on this call that also is. And what's interesting is we both go to the same church. So that was a point of discussion during our Zoom coffee. And as Councilman Weiss said, one way or the other, we're going to have both. One of us from this denomination is going to be up in the state legislature. It won't be a first, but it should be a good thing. Both of us have run for office before. We've both been elected. She's still serving. And as I've observed both of us, when you're in an elected office, if you choose to, you can improve your listening skills and your ability to relate to people and express. And I've seen that both of us have done that. I have more breadth and depth of experience because I've had more years to collect it. But otherwise, it's not going to be a loss, but I am partial to my own candidacy. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see any more hands raised. I had a message from Kenneth Sherman in the chat. If you'd like to speak, you can do so.
Can you hear me? Hi, good evening. Library Board. I look forward to serving with Mayor Pro Tem Burns. Thank you. Secondly, this is directed to Assistant City Manager Mr. Yee. I wanted to mention my trash pickup last Friday. They broke glass all over the front of my house, between my house and my neighbor across the street. I called DPW. The person that I spoke to was very less than happy to take my complaint. She said, well, if you cleaned it up, what is it that you want us to do about it? So I wasn't happy with the response, just to let you know, or with Tringelli breaking glass. I didn't have any glass in my trash, so it must have been in my neighbors across the street. Somehow they broke the glass and just left it all over the street. And I was still cleaning it up yesterday, as a matter of fact. So just to let you know. And my third point is, both current and past Oak Park City Council members who are lawyers have been known to say the lawyers must be paid when voting to approve outside legal expenditures. For example, the approval of today's accounting report. As both residents and taxpayers, we have the right to know the specifics of these expenses without violating attorney-client privilege. Therefore, before a formal vote is taken by City Council, there should be an explanation provided to the public as to the nature of the services rendered. Thank you.
If anybody else would like, I don't see any more hands raised or messages in the chat for public comment at this time.
Okay, thank you. We will have call to the council and then we will go into closed session. Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Well, thank you everyone for coming out. Please be cognizant of the changing weather and the extended, well, the shorter days, and it's getting darker now much earlier. Thank everyone for coming and attending. Have a blessed evening.
Thank you. Council Member Edgar.
She's on mute.
Oh, you're check your mute.
Good evening.
Yes.
Thank council, administration, and public for participating tonight. I feel accomplished. We passed the animal ordinances, the amendments. I think it's important that we did that. I think we took a step forward. I'm very glad that, again, that we're going to supply more carts to our residents. Thank you for showing up, and good night.
Thank you. Councilmember Radner.
I want to respond briefly to the question that was raised at the end of call to audience about transparency and attorneys' bills. And here's my response. What we include in the public minutes are the things that we can divulge without divulging attorney-client privilege. Now, obviously, I think what he was referring to specifically is the fact that it almost sounded like what he was saying was there shouldn't be no attorney-client privilege because they're the voters, they're the residents, we work for them. If there are attorneys, they're also their attorneys. The problem with that is that when you represent an organization like the city, there has to be able to be maintained attorney-client privilege there as well. And between the entity and between the attorney. This is for many, many reasons, the least of which, and I think the most obvious of which, is if there's pending litigation and we have to divulge exactly what the attorneys are telling us, then the other side is going to know exactly what to do and how to respond, exactly what's going on behind closed doors. It is extremely important to get your attorneys paid. I don't know how much more strongly I can possibly stress that. Probably the most important bill we ever get. It should be at the very top of our list to pay every month for those of us who have attorneys. But that's a little bit tongue in cheek. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But the reality is, it is a very, very important privilege, and it's an important bill to pay at the same time. And I don't think that believing that means that we're not being transparent. Have a good night.
Thank you. Let's see, Councilmember Weiss.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining. For those of you who started school today, like me, well done. We made it. I have my virtual classroom behind me right now. I have my first day back today, and I know many people started today. Some people started last week. We're getting acclimated to some districts are doing some face-to-face. Most districts are doing all virtual or a combination of the two. And no matter what end you're on, whether you're a parent, a student, a teacher, everyone is feeling it, I know. And so I just want to kind of give a moment of solidarity to everyone, and just remind everyone to be patient and be kind. And if you do have children, check in with them, make sure that they're doing okay, because this is going to be a lot, and we're going to have to make sure we're taking care of each other and checking in on these kids to get them through this together. And then also just wanted to say just a quick reminder, as we're talking about virtual learning and getting through everything, coronavirus is still very much here and very much present. And please, 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 please wear masks when you go out in public. Please social distance. Don't do anything risky that's unnecessary. That's what keeps us in a bad position and prevents us from moving forward and being able to get back to normal quickly. And as we're approaching flu season now, it's really important that folks get their flu shot as well, so that we don't compound flu season with coronavirus in the fall. And so just be mindful of all those things. And finally, and I know we say this every time, but if you have not done so yet, please complete your census. Check in with anyone that you think may not have completed it, friends, neighbors, family members. According to SEMCOG, we're currently at 78.7% completion rate. That's okay, but it's anything below 100 isn't good, because we want to get 100% of our resources, and we want to get 100% of our representation. And so please, if you have not completed it, if you know of anyone who may not have completed it, reach out and do so. You can go to Census 2020 to complete your census, and there's also phone numbers on there if you choose to do it that way. Then there's more information on how to do it by paper if you want to do it that way as well. Thank you and have a good night.
Can I ask you to add one more thing on? You've been working with the new traffic safety board that's been very busy. Can you give us a brief update?
Yes, Traffic Safety Board, we've been meeting regularly, and then I know we stopped meeting for a little bit during shutdown, but we've met a few times since then. We really have done a lot of work studying different types of traffic control measures, speed control measures, traffic safety measures that we could possibly implement in Oak Park. And we've actually designed a traffic safety survey that we're working with the city on to get that out to residents, so that we can get a better sense from residents where some of the most problem areas are in the city. So it's not just kind of us based on what we're hearing, but we're actually getting a better synopsis from everyone who's able to complete that survey. And so that will be coming soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This past weekend, there was a Belle Isle memorial to the 1,500 people in this area who were lost to COVID. Mayor Pro Tem Burns' beautiful brother was one of those pictures on Belle Isle. I'm trying to get all of the pictures together so that we can post them somehow for Oak Parkers who were not able to get out there. But we don't want any more of our wonderful people lost to COVID. So as Councilmember Weiss said, please get your flu shot, even though it's not a COVID shot. Keep wearing your mask and keep being careful. I know from the other end, from the grandma end, that the first day of school virtually is a trauma, as everyone's running around looking for websites and logins and all kinds of new things where we're all under stress, more than usual. Be patient and kind to one another, as kids, we're all on our last nerve. The next thing here is a motion pursuant to Section 8 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss attorney-client privileged communication and pending litigation regarding Oak Park Crown Point Limited versus the City of Oak Park and Bonfire North End Ventures Limited versus the City of Oak Park. Need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
That's thank you. That's Weiss. And a second.
Second it.
Edgar? Thank you. Roll call, I believe.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes. Okay. Can our deputy clerk please handle making sure that this is, let us know when we're ready?
Okay, give me just a minute. Okay, I believe we are ready. The recording is paused and people have been moved to a waiting room.
Eric, did you want to have Aaron Powers in this session to answer any questions? You're
I
muted.
think we need Aaron, and it still says live on YouTube on mine.
It's live on YouTube.
Oh, let me see what Benny's doing.
Lisa, we do want Aaron Powers in this.
I did not remove him. I don't know what happened. Let me try to find him.
And it still says we're live on YouTube.